Now have a look at factors that change the demand for a good other than a change in the price of the good itself. So in other words, these factors cause a shift in the demand curve to the right or a shift to the left. Now you should know that any change to the price of the good itself causes a movement up and down the demand curve. Anything other than a change in the price of the good causes a shift to the demand curve. So we're now going to look at the price of related goods. These would be substitute goods and complementary goods. Substitute goods. These are goods which satisfy the same need and can be considered to be alternatives to each other. For example, tea or coffee. Now, this is the demand curve for tea. As you can see, the demand curve is downward sloping from left to right. However, if the price of coffee goes up, while the price of tea remains unchanged, then in reality tea has become cheaper and the demand for it will rise. The demand curve will shift to the right even though the price hasn't changed. If the price of coffee falls and the price of tea remains unchanged, then tea becomes relatively dearer and the demand for it will fall. The demand for tea will shift to the left even though the price of tea has not changed. Number 2 would be complementary goods. So these are goods which are used together and cannot be used separately. In an economic sense, they may be seen as a single good or goods with joint demand. For example, PlayStation and PlayStation games. If the price of one of the goods goes up, the demand for its complementary good will go down. It will shift to the left. If the price of one of the goods go down, the demand for its complementary good will go up. It shifts to the right. The third factor that causes a shift in the demand curve is consumer income. If income increases, demand increases. And if income decreases, demand decreases. This applies to the vast majority of goods in the economy and are called normal goods. For example, mobile phones and branded goods. So if there's an increase in income, shift to the right. If there's a decrease in income, shift to the left in the demand curve. Normal goods have a positive income relationship. That means if income goes up, demand goes up. If income goes down, demand goes down. Now we're still on income. If income increases and demand decreases, and if income decreases, demand increases, this happens with goods that are called inferior goods, cheap staple goods, such are foods such as bread and rice. If the income goes up, there's a shift to the left, demand goes down. If income goes down, there's a shift to the right, demand goes up. Inferior goods have a negative income relationship. A change in taste. If a person's taste has changed in favour of a good, this means that the extra satisfaction or utility received from this good increases, and this will lead to an increase in the demand even if the price remains unchanged. If the taste increases or changes, there's a shift to the right, demand goes up. If we have lost interest in a good in terms of taste or fashion, there's a shift to the left, demand goes down. And the last one we want to look at is unforeseen circumstances. Circumstances can occur which nobody could reasonably be expected to forecast, which may cause an increase or a decrease in the demand for a good. For example, a long hot summer may cause an increase in the demand for ice cream. If favourable, the shift to the right, demand goes up. If unfavourable, it'll shift to the left, demand goes down. Now, important note, a change in the price of the good itself causes a movement along the demand curve. All other factors cause the demand curve to shift to the left or shift to the right with no change in price.